안녕하십니까? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Randi Rifadianza. I am the Deputy Director of Indonesia Investment Promotion Center. We are the representative office of Indonesia's Ministry of Investment, or BKPM, here in Seoul, South Korea. First of all, allow me to send my appreciation to TIPA and Unido ITPO Korea for organizing and arranging this online seminar. On this opportunity, I would like to share with you all about what's going on in Indonesia, the current investment information and policies by Indonesia's government. Hopefully, the information that I share today will be beneficial to the participants' intent or interest in developing your business overseas, especially in Indonesia. So I will start by giving you an update about some background information and Indonesia's investment trends. Let us take a look at the slide. So investment realization info in Indonesia in 2021. Foreign direct investment into Indonesia, excluding investment to banking and financial sectors and also the oil and gas sectors, have jumped 10.1% year on year to a record high of 122.3 trillion Indonesian rupiahs, or equivalent to 8.5 billion US dollars in the fourth quarter of 2021, rebounding sharply from a 2.7% drop in the previous period. The realization is getting better every year, with an increase of 9% for the whole year of 2021 compared to 2020. The target set for year 2021 was reached despite the uncertainties caused by the pandemic. Right. Next is just some information on investment realization based on sector, the domestic direct investment and foreign direct investment in Indonesia. And this one is another information on investment realization in 2021, but based on location. For recent information, as you can see on the screen, Singapore was the biggest source of investment in Indonesia or to Indonesia in 2021, followed by Hong Kong, China, the US, Japan, and the Netherlands. South Korea is number 7. And considering the whole year, the FDI was in total 31 billion US dollars, an increase of around 9% from 2020. Next is the information on the distribution of South Korean foreign direct investment realization in 2021. South Korea was focusing their investment overwhelmingly in Java Island. We are trying to shift the focus onto other islands and regions of Indonesia. South Korea also primarily invested in secondary sectors, focusing in the motor vehicles and other transport equipment industry, leather goods and footwear industry, and also textile industry sectors. South Korea have been a consistent partner in economic cooperation with Indonesia. For the past 2 years, Korean companies have expanded their businesses in Indonesia. These are some of the Korean companies who have currently invested their business in Indonesia. Along with those many businesses, counted among them are Korean conglomerates or businesses investing in Indonesia for more than 10 billion US dollars. These are the list of existing strategic projects in Indonesia for the past 2 years. As you can see, the highest one would be Lotte Chemical with an advanced petrochemical plant investment amounting to more than 10 billion US dollars. And then from the manufacturing side, you can also see Parkland, which is Sejin Fashion, investing in garment and textile for 35 million US dollars. Right. Next, I would like to talk about the situation in Indonesia with an industrial revolution in development in Indonesia. Firstly, let's talk about Indonesia's digital economy potential. So Indonesia has a fairly large digital economy potential. The development of the digital economy in Indonesia is inseparable from the continued growth in the number of internet users in Indonesia. And You can see from the slide, this is the number of internet users in Southeast Asia, and one of them is Indonesia. The manufacturing sector of Indonesia also has its own digital potential. Across key sectors, Indonesia could harness digitization to realize total productivity impact of 120 billion US dollars by 2025. Demographically, the next 15 years will be a golden age for Indonesia, as it will enjoy a demographic bonus peak. A demographic bonus period is when the ratio of working population to dependent population is increasing, which has a high correlation with the country's economic growth. Industrial Revolution 4.0 utilizes the latest technology to link the physical, digital, and biological spheres of production. Globally, this is a phenomenon which emphasizes on ubiquitous connectivity of people, machines, and real-time data. The key technologies of Industrial Revolution 4.0 includes high-caliber technologies such as AI, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, advanced robotics, wearable, augmented reality and or virtual reality, and last but not least, 3D printing. Indonesia is currently in development of a policy program to assimilate the Industrial Revolution 4.0 towards improving our overall situation. Indonesia have launched an initiative called Making Indonesia 4.0. This in hope to revive the Indonesian manufacturing sector, and it is planned to directly impact the production sector and revive them, ensuring Indonesia to regain our net exporter position. Indirectly, it hopefully will improve Indonesia's financial strength, enhance government spending and investment to ultimately build a robust economy and better labor market. Next, as you can see, there are 10 national priorities for the initiative of Making Indonesia 4.0. Number one is reforming the material flow, and then redesigning industrial zones to embracing sustainability, until incentive technology investment. Up to number 10 is reoptimize regulations and policies. I will not say each and every one of them, but you can see them on the screen. And after this, we can share the slides for you to peruse. Right, continuing on, I will talk about policies development and government support in Indonesia. Right. One of the main priorities of Indonesia is to attract foreign investment to Indonesia. Investment has become the main thing driving economic growth in Indonesia, where it will push for more job opportunities, hopefully resulting in the increase of people's income because of the job creation, which in turn will encourage people to spend more because of higher purchasing power. As I mentioned previously, our office, IIPC Seoul, is the representative office of Indonesia's Ministry of Investment. So the Ministry of Investment is given a directive by the government of Indonesia, and the role of the Ministry of Investment can be seen through our key performance indicators, which you can see on the screen. There are 7 of them. From improvement of Indonesia's ease of doing business to encouraging the increase of domestic investment and etc. Regarding policy development, Indonesia has taken or created 5 steps to facilitate investors aiming to increase investment realization. The first step is promotion, convincing investors that Indonesia is very friendly for investment. And then assistance in the licensing process or the licensing services. After that is the assistance in the financial closing process, and then assistance to commercial production stage. And then at the end is end-to-end services for investors. The main investment sectors or the priority sectors in Indonesia include labor-intensive industries, which includes pharmaceutical and medical devices, automotive and electronics industry, and then infrastructure, renewable energy, and integrated mining with downstream activities that provide added value. As you all know, Indonesia has the presidency of G20 this year, and our motto is recover together, recover stronger. And our three main priority sectors from that presidency in G20 is the increase of health infrastructure, energy transition, and economic transformation. So this is also in line with Indonesia's presidency in G20 this year. The government of Indonesia plays a role as the center of recovery, being the only component that grows positively. So one of Indonesian government's policy is to change the direction of industrial policy from the primary sector to value-added or downstream-based industries in order to create economic transformation. The added value of a product will have an impact on national economic growth, which no longer focus on natural resources, but focusing on processing these natural resources into finished or semi-finished goods with added value. Another example of Indonesian government support is the establishment of the Investment Acceleration Task Force through the issuance of Presidential Decree number 11, year 2021. With the formation of the Minister of Investment or head of BKPM as chair, Deputy Attorney General as Deputy Chair 1, and Deputy Chief of Police as Deputy Chair 2. This task force was formed in order to facilitate investment plans or activities that encountered obstacles so that they could be realized quickly. Regarding Indonesia government's policy on investment, I will next explain briefly about business fields in Indonesia based on Presidential Regulation number 49, year 2021. So previously, regarding the business fields, the Presidential Regulation was number 44 in 2016. The orientation of that is the limitation of business fields. Maybe you've heard previously about negative investment list. So starting from last year, based on Presidential Regulation number 49 in 2021, the business fields are more competitive and are more encouraging the development of priority business fields. This is the new one. I'll just skip that one because that's just comparison. So for this slide, these are the comparison between the previous one, which is Presidential Decree number 44, year 2016, on negative investment list. And the new one is Presidential Decree number 49, year 2021, on business fields. So in the new regulation, firstly, there are around 246 business fields that are considered priority sectors. And these are businesses that fulfill criteria such as national strategic programs or projects. They are also capital intensive, labor intensive with high technology. They are also a pioneer industry. So businesses, or these 246 businesses listed in the priority list of business fields, are eligible for intensive incentives such as a tax holiday and tax allowance, which I would talk about later on. After that, there is, as you can see, 106 business fields allocated for, or 182, sorry, business fields allocated for or required for partnership with SME or cooperatives in Indonesia. These business fields are determined based on these criteria, which are business activities that do not use technology or just use simple technology, business activities that have specific processes, are labor intensive, and have cultural heritage that are special and hereditary. After that, there are 37 business fields which are open with certain requirements. So these requirements included, but not limited to, investment requirements for domestic investors, and then requirements or restrictions on foreign capital ownership. For example, some of the business fields among these 37 business fields have maximum foreign capital ownership requirement or limit. And then there are investments in these business fields which require special permits, and then others that are limited or closely monitored and regulated. For example, business fields in the production and distribution of alcohol in Indonesia. Now, I will explain about investment incentives in Indonesia. First, on the left, we'll talk about import duty facilities. So these business entities who fulfilled the criteria and want to import machines, goods, and or materials for production will be eligible for 2 years of import duty exemption, or additional 2 years for a maximum of 4 years for companies using locally produced machines at a minimum of 30%. This incentive is mainly for industries which produces goods and or services and eligible for companies who wants to import things that fulfill the criteria. Also, there are incentives and facilities if you decide to invest your business in Indonesia's free trade zones. You will receive exemption on import duties, VATs, sales tax on luxury goods, and excise. FTZs in Indonesia include Batam, Bintan, and Karimun. A little bit more about the import duty exemption facility. So they are divided into two for import duty exemption for the import of machinery and for goods and raw materials. So the criteria for importing the goods to get the import duty facility is that the imported machines, goods, and or materials for production are not available in Indonesia. The second criteria is that if the imported machines, good, and or raw materials are available in Indonesia, but the quality is not up to the standard required for the company to produce or do their business in Indonesia. And the third criteria is if the imported goods or machines and raw materials are available and the standard and quality is feasible, but the quantity is not enough. So then you can import those machines, goods, and raw materials, and you can be allowed to get the import duty exemption facility. Either 50% or up to 100% of their income tax for a period of 5 to 20 years, depending on the total amount of investment. The scheme is as you can see on the slide. So the sectors included and criteria are also available there. So after that, next we have an incentive called investment tax allowance. And this is also a fiscal incentive that will be given. It is a reduction of corporate income tax by 5% per year for 6 years for a total of 30 years. The scheme is on the slide. And we also have something called investment allowance facility. And this scheme is for the reduction of net income by 60% of the total investment value for 6 years, which is charged at 10% per year. Right, and last but not least, I will talk about special economic zones in Indonesia. I'll just be quick. So these are the basic concept of establishing special economic zones in Indonesia. And the purpose of establishing SAZ is to develop regional economy, to promote investment, give added value optimization to export and import, and a breakthrough model for a new economic center. Yeah, so business entities doing their business in Indonesia is eligible to receive facilities. So there are fiscal facilities, as you can see on the screen, exemption from import duty, exemption from VAT, and then non-fiscal facilities include ease of permits for investment, land, immigration, and working visa integrated at SEZs. I'm sorry, I'm just speeding through this. So this last screen is just the list of special economic zones in Indonesia, with each zone having their own primary activities. Right, so that brings us to the end of our presentation. I hope you gain more insight on the investment climate and the economic situation in Indonesia. We from IPC Seoul office will fully support and assist you on each stage of your investment journey in Indonesia. So feel free to reach us for any inquiry. These are our contacts and email address. Thank you for your time and attention, and stay safe. Thank you.